Martin and Gina and the gang are going to a wedding. After the wedding, everyone is back at Martin's place when Martin decides to put his foot in his mouth.
Damn, a wedding? Ain't that right, baby?
Martin actively avoids the topic of marriage, but of course, Gina and Pam press him.
When exactly are you and Gina getting married, Martin, you know?
I mean, me and Gina could go like this, what, another 2, 3, 9 years? I don't know.
Gina kicks everyone out so they can have a real conversation about their timetable for marriage, and she mentions that they've been together for almost 3 years.
You know, we got to talk about that timetable you just laid out.
But Martin again avoids the topic by faking the runs. Gina is offered a promotion in New York again, but she keeps turning it down because Martin is here and she's happy with her current job. Shanae's nosy ass interjects herself into Gina and Pam's conversation.
Martin ain't thinking about you. So I think you should leave town and find yourself a new man while you still can.
Now, Pam, who was anti-Martin and can't stand Shanae, actually agrees and co-signs with this idea.
I will tell him, and he won't want me going to New York. That's the bottom line.
Gina isn't the only one with people meddling in their relationship, and Martin is getting his usual bad advice from Stan.
Never take a single woman to a wedding. Man, it just gives them ideas.
Martin brushes off Stan at first, but Stan urges him to watch out for being trapped.
Women always come up with something, so call her bluff.
So now we got Gina pretending to take a job she really doesn't want, and Martin with the idea to call her bluff in his head. That night, Gina tells Martin about the promotion and raise offer, and he's thrilled for her at first, but then she mentions the part about having moved to New York. Martin works out that this could be one of those traps that Stan just warned him about.
One day we go to a wedding, and the next day out of the blue, you got to move to New York.
Taking Stan's advice, Martin calls Gina's bluff and tells her she should take the job.
You just let me go. Just let me go like that. Just.
What, are you surprised?
Yes, I am. What about our relationship?
Martin doubles down and pretends like he really doesn't care if Gina leaves, and Gina is hurt and really starts contemplating her future with Martin.
Why is Martin so afraid of marriage? What is it that men think that they're giving up?
Gina is really packing up to move to New York, but Martin thinks that Gina packing up her whole apartment and shutting off her utilities is all a game. Tommy, the voice of reason, per the usual, tells Martin that he doesn't think Gina is bluffing and that she is really ready to settle down.
Brother, you have forced her into a corner. You told her to go, right? Now, you better do something to make her stay.
And Cole advises Martin to just let her go to New York.
Because she'll be miserable in New York without you. She'll come right back.
Gina is completely packed up and ready to move, but she's still waiting on Martin to give her a valid reason to stay.
Is that the best you could come up with to keep me here? Is that I'm gonna go crazy without you? Is that it?
Martin is still convinced that this is all a game, but Gina is dead serious.
This is real life and I'm going.
Martin realizes that Gina is serious about leaving, and he hits her with one of the most disrespectful marriage proposals I have ever heard.
You plotted and you schemed and clank, clank. You finally got me, Gina. I will marry you. Damn. I mean, are you happy now?
Damn, that's how you gonna propose to your woman?
That was the proposal I've been dreaming about all my life.
Martin's disrespectful proposal doesn't win Gina over, and she leaves Martin behind for her promotion in New York. Back at Martin's place, he tells the story of how he proposed to Tommy and Cole.
Damn, I don't know how she turned that down.
Pam shows up to throw salt on the wound.
You blew it with that whack proposal, bruh.
Gina's gone and the rest of the gang all have dates, so Martin is forced to hang out with Stan and the old heads. But all Martin can do this whole time is reminisce about Gina. After the card game is over and everyone leaves, one of the old heads stay back to ask Martin about Gina and why she left.
Kept pressing me to marry her. I wasn't ready yet.
What's holding you back?
Living up in this apartment. I ain't got no house. I ain't set yet, man.
He tells Martin that's how he felt at his age, and now he has the house with no one to share it with. This man's word and the absence of Gina in his life makes Martin decide to take a second shot and propose to Gina properly. They meet in the park where they had their first date, and Martin is finally ready to have the conversation Gina was trying to have in the first place.
You've been wanting to get engaged, Gina, but I gotta tell you, I'm not ready yet.
Don't put me through this again, okay?
He has Pam bring out a dozen long-stem white roses, and Cole brings out a bottle of champagne. Tommy shows up and brings Martin a ring, and Gina starts hyperventilating. He brings out Brian McKnight to serenade Gina.
'Cause I never felt this way about loving you.
He gets down on one knee and proposes properly.
Gina, will you marry me?
Yes, Martin. Yes.
Let's review. Martin and Gina attend a wedding and it raises questions about Martin's timeline for marriage. Martin is actively avoiding having this conversation with Gina. Meanwhile, Gina is offered a raise and promotion to move to New York, but doesn't even consider it until Shanae and Pam tell her that Martin isn't even checking for her. At the same time, Stan is warning Martin to avoid marriage traps. So Gina tells Martin about the New York offer. Martin calls her bluff, tells her to go, and she does, but not before giving him one last chance to give her a reason to stay.
I will marry you. I mean, are you happy now?
Martin's disrespectful proposal pushes Gina away, and Martin misses her, and after some sage advice,
old fools used to be young fools.
Martin calls Pam, Tommy, Cole, and Brian McKnight to help him give Gina the romantic proposal that she has always wanted. So after pretending to have diarrhea to avoid having a real conversation about marriage, making Gina think that he didn't even care if she left the city and giving her the worst proposal of all time. But then Martin gives Gina a genuine proposal from the heart.
Will you marry me?
Did that proposal make up for the first one? And after all of that, is Martin a fuckboy? You let us know what you think in the comments.